are evaluating Windows 2022. This is a trial copy that I downloaded from Microsoft. And I went ahead and added, obviously, the administrator account as default, and then I added 2 accounts. We're primarily interested in the security aspect and what kind of footprint signature this particular operating system has. It looks very similar to 2019. Again, this is my first look at this, besides just adding 2 accounts, and then I gave it a static IP for my test network. What is very interesting is it retains Server Manager, but it also pops up Windows Admin Center, which I guess good or bad, a little annoying, but I guess they have a little backwards compatibility for Server Manager. So we're going to go ahead and minimize that, and then we're just going to poke around here. So administrative tools is always a good place to start. So everything looks like it's a very similar feel of 2019. But again, I'm interested in the security aspect. So let's see what kind of services. I'm just going to put on the desktop here what kind of services are running. And this is a default install. Aside from adding 2 user accounts so that we can test with, and I'm actually logged in with one of those user accounts now. And then by default, it always seems to default to the Pacific time zone, and then our taskbar on the bottom. So we're going to just take a peek and see what kind of services are running out of the box. This does not have any other features set up. So I'm just kind of spot checking here, and this is the full desktop version. It's actually interesting. I'm going to include some screenshots later. But it's very interesting is they don't specify core install anymore. They just say either standard edition. This is actually data center edition, but in parentheses they say with desktop experience. So this is what we've got going on here. So user telemetry. So a lot of these are looking fairly like a 2019. So if you're familiar with 2019, this seems like a fairly new service. And again, I'm just this is just an initial look at this, and in the background we're going to try to beat it up by running some port scans and some legions through Kali. But I just want to see what's out of the box, what the default settings are. So again, these are services. This is actually interesting here. This is a new one to me. Maintains and improves system performance over time. And see this SV host here? I'm not a huge fan because everything runs under this daemon here, or service. And I believe this is a good attack point, because you just attack SV host. And let's actually see how many SV hosts are running on this task manager. Now, this is actually set up on a little VM in my internal lab. So yeah, oh, it's interesting. Oh, Explorer, okay. So yeah, look at all those SV hosts. That's just a normal Windows, but look, that's quite a lot, I think. Let's keep that in check. So that, and again, we're just getting an initial feel. Let's go to Windows Defender. We're going to test that. We're going to see it's Windows Firewall, but we're going to see if actually try to catch some. We're going to try to do some attacks here. So these push notifications. Yeah, these look all clipboard user service. That's a new one. It's a new one to me. Again, uses SV host. So to me, that clipboard service group, the user service is used for clipboard scenarios. I'm not really sure what that is, but I believe that's a good attack point. It's a good attack point. So we're just poking around here. Edge server updates. Yeah, none of these, I mean, most of these look, you know, the standard Windows services device picker. Services used for managing the Miracast. I have no idea, it is disabled. So, you know, but again, uses SV host. So it's currently disabled, but okay, these are all the, oh, here's the, let's just go to status by running here. Actually, sorry, let's go to automatic. So these are the services that start up automatically. To me, I'm just spot checking these. I haven't done a full analysis on this. But these look like most of the standard Windows, like I said, clipboard. That's a new one. I personally would probably disable this, but this is just an initial review on this operating system. And I'm looking more at a security standpoint. I'll have to do some research on that, but I would probably disable that. Again, I'm not sure what it does, so I'll have to do some further research on that. Yeah, and these others are disabled, which is good. And it's best, obviously, to on your services, go to most restrictive if you don't need it, and then just disable it. Because others are disabled. These are the manual settings, and it's really interesting how they put this suffix afterwards. And again, these are manual, so context searching. I'll have to do some further analysis on these. Wallet service, okay. Used by clients of the wallet. Okay, this is a server. I would imagine, obviously this is disabled, but this is server. If this is the wallet service for users, again, I don't know what this is. I'll have to do some research. But if this is the wallet service for shopping online and using like wallet for like your credit cards information, definitely delete that. That is worthless. If that's what it is, then I'm kind of surprised. So everything else looks normal-ish per se. Again, just looking at an initial signature. Normally what I do is I'll go through an operating system and then research all the ones that I don't know about. And then if I need them, great. If I don't, I'm going to disable them. But I get a baseline. So then usually I get a baseline of all the services that should be on the server. And then I run queries and reports from a security standpoint to see if some hacker got in there and added a service, I want to catch it on my reports. So again, I'm just getting an initial feel here. User service, shell components. I don't know what that is. Let's see here. SV host. That's a great hacking point. So telephony. So yeah, most of these are not running, but we're giving here's the ones that are running are most concerning. Windows, network inspection. Oh, that's interesting. Helps guard intrusion attempts, targeting known and newly discovered vulnerabilities, and the network protocols. We're going to test this. This is neat. We're going to test this and see if it actually creates some logs, some actually useful information. Because what I've seen on the older versions of Windows with Windows Defender and Firewall, in the event logs, it does not log anything. I think it's fairly worthless. And even the security logs are fairly worthless as well. So you should probably rely on third-party SIEMs tools. That's just my opinion. Yeah, that's actually interesting, the discovery service. Okay. And this is not a web server. We do not yet have that set up. And again, this is just out of the box, fresh install. Yeah, some of these are new, and these ones that are running manual, there's a few new ones. Of course, Windows Update, handwriting, which is kind of worthless because I'm using a keyboard. Just in time, I think this is just in time support. So that's a new one, but again, SV host. So just kind of a quick overview there, and then of course I believe I have launched Event Viewer here. Yep. And Event Viewer, I always go in here and check, especially after maintenance, like either application updates, patch updates. I always check the Windows Event Viewer, and I have a mental and a documented baseline of the errors, what they should be. And if I have new errors, I'm going to just disable this action pane to give us more real estate. It is not not responding. So we'll give it a minute. But usually after patching or application updates, I always double check my event viewer system application, the whole works, just to see if there's anything strange that the update did. So we're just going to spot check here. This was recently rebooted about 10-15 minutes ago. So these look all fairly, normal per se. Again, we're just getting first a mental baseline of what the event logs look like, application logs. And these to me look fairly normal. Again, there's no other applications. This is a default install. So application looks good. Let's hop over to system here. And I'm just taking a peek first, taking a little test drive of the operating system. We're not loading any applications or starting any features yet. We're just seeing exactly what's going on, a baseline. Here's a decom error. Did not grant local permissions. Not sure what that is. This is not hooked up to a domain yet. This is just not even a member. Well, it's just not hooked up to domain, just a work group. So, and then I rebooted it a little while back, so we can ignore that. That was me. So let's go ahead and go to setup here. And again, I have not loaded any patches. This is a fresh install. I'll probably do Windows Update before and get all the patches. Now let's go to security. This is what I found with Windows event logs. Generally the event logs, security event logs, are pretty much worthless. It's always a good idea to check in here, and we're checking mainly for the errors. And here's an audit failure. So, and the machine is called Windows 2020 trial. Connect device certificate user key. Not really sure what that is, but and we're logged in as Eric Cartman. So I don't see anything popping out. So, and then let's check application. We don't have any specific applications like PowerShell or anything. I will dive in here for Windows Firewall. What I found on other operating systems, the firewall logs to me are kind of worthless. They'll tell the configuration. Here we are. They'll tell the configuration, but not necessarily from an operation standpoint. So like, let's say we're going to simulate an attack here. So yeah, nothing connection verbose firewall. So here a rule has been added to the exception list. So this will just, usually this will show me the configuration. Okay, so it automatically added some of the rules and stuff for the default install. But usually it does not show like if it was blocking something. At least that's been my experience. Yeah, see, these are kind of, to my opinion, this is like the other operating systems, all other versions, like Windows 2012, 2019. I would imagine that Windows Firewall should actively log hacking attempts. Okay, here we go. Windows Defender. Okay, has changed. Okay, we're gonna test this. We're gonna throw some port scanning on this, and we're gonna see what actually happens. So we're gonna leave that as is, and then let's go ahead and poke into the Windows Firewall, and we're just going to show you the default install. Network, okay, security. So right now we are on the private network because it's not connected to a domain. So it looks like it's just the standard. And turn on Windows Defender. So this is the base. This is default. Turn on, change notification settings. No, I don't have notification settings. I just use the default. Block all incoming connections. Notify me when it blocks a new app. we're gonna test this, the default connections, and then advanced settings here. Advanced settings to go ahead and add all the rules. I would imagine monitoring, it would default show you the blocking, because we're going to run some port scans. We're going to try to beat it up here. So quick mode, main mode. Yeah, I always kind of find these kind of worthless, but okay. So that's the tour of that. Going to kind of push that aside. Oh, and by the way, this is using IP 177. So we're going to log into Kali here. We're just going to run some default scans just to see what kind of. First, we're going to run a SYN scan, and we're at the very, very bottom of the screen here. So I'm going to move the camera down a little bit, and then I'm going to scroll, zoom in a little bit. See if that was a little easier to see. So bear with me here. Now it's small, and I apologize for that. So first, we're going to run a scan, a null scan, and so we have verbose. So I'm just going to kick this off here. And we're in 192.177. So it actually tells us host SIEMs down. If it is really up, but blocking our probe, try port scan null. And it scanned it in 3 seconds. It found 2 ports. But it looks like to me it's filtered. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's try that port scan. So let's try a port scan. So right now we're just using good old Nmap here on Kali, and we're scanning 1,000 ports. So see what, and I've already scanned this before. Okay, so here's what we found. That is actually interesting. We have port 5357. I do not know what that is. That is open. So that is a new one to me. I'd have to look that one up. That's not one of the standard ones, like obviously web server or FTP or LDAP or Simba, or that's not one of the standard ones that I'm familiar with. So let me scroll down here, and I'll show you, zoom in a little bit better here. We're going to run that port scan again. Just to show the results. Wasn't very helpful, and that's okay. That's okay. This is just an initial attempt to see what the base Windows 2022 server data center edition, what its default lockdown is. 5357. So this will most likely give us the same results as before. So I just kind of zoomed in here to show you a little better. Hopefully it shows a little easier here. But port 5357, TCP open, WSDAPI, Windows Development Application Protocol Interface, maybe. Not really sure. I'll have to look that up later. But again, this is just an initial attempt to see what's open, what kind of security footprint and signature. Now we're on the same network, so it makes it kind of easy. We're not coming through another firewall. We're not coming through the outside. We're actually on the same network, the same subnet. So it makes the scan pretty easy, but for demonstration, just going to show you what's available. And we actually ran this 3 times. So in theory, the Windows Defender and or firewall should be triggering, should be throwing alerts. Say somebody's doing a null scan, somebody's doing a port scan. That to me should show up in some sort of SIEM, some sort of logging. And then what you can do is most likely on most corporate systems, you may have like a script kiddie that maybe tries this a handful of times. And if you see it from one IP address like one time, that's not necessarily as concerning as if you see it every day, every week, if it's consistently like at 4 in the morning. And it's from this one IP, but it's trying to do a port scan on random ports. That to me is suspicious. But if it's just like right now we're coming in as one IP address, and we're doing a scan which is fairly noisy. But if you see this, like that same IP in your SIM logs, like every day, every week, every month at the same time, that means most hackers, they try to be as quiet as possible. So if you see some consistency in your logs, like if you see a specific IP address coming in, like if it's one time, you maybe just say, okay, that's a one-time deal. If it's maybe a handful of times, I'd still say, okay, well that's not too concerning. But if you see like this port scan from one IP address on the internet, and it's like at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, every Monday, every Thursday, every week, every day, definitely get your security team set to block that port. So this again came back as 5357. So kind of not much excitement there. So let's go ahead and bring up Legend, and hopefully you can see this okay. I'm going to back out just ever so slightly, just so we can see everything here. So bear with me, patience. Okay, this is small and I apologize. Okay, so Legend, so we're going to go ahead and do delete that old IP, and we're going to put in our IP, and it's just 77. And so Legend is going to run, and it's going to tell us mode selection. Let's go hard. And we can do aggressive. Well, let's do insane. Insane. We can do Synac, or we can do Fan. Xmas, Christmas is always fun. So let's give this a go. Let's see what from Legend. Let's see what Legion's going to do for us here. Did I go ahead and enter that correctly? Submit. It should show up now. And we do have a. Okay, so we are going to. So we went in and added the IP. Now let's go ahead and rescan. Do a rescan. I think it's running. So this should show us the footprint. I'm a little rusty. Sometimes I use a Legion, so it should show us the footprint of. We're doing a port scan. Let's do a full top 1000 UDP. Let's do full TCP. Now this is a pretty loud scan. So we're gonna, should see some results here. Here we go. Did it go? Okay, here we come. So we're finally coming up here. So we looked like we it found port 137 UDP open, and that's of course the standard NetBIOS for Windows workgroup. It found that, and let's see if it found anything else. Okay, so those are the two ports that it found, and this translated, Legion translated it as HTTP, so it's the HTTP daemon. Now, mind you, we do not have IIS running on this yet. So this is what it found. Again, I'm not sure what that port is. I'll have to look that up. Not familiar with it. But Legion translated it. And this is a Kali version that I downloaded a few weeks ago. This is the November 2021 that I downloaded just a few weeks ago. So I think it's 21.3 on a Kali copy that I downloaded. So Looks like some things have been popping up here. So it looks like it only found these 2 ports. So again, I'm familiar with 137, but I'm not familiar with 53 or 57. So let's see what services it found. It still found the same. NetBIOS, so those are a little impatient. So let's go ahead and we have some usernames here. So we have good old Stan. And 1 second here. I'm going to use these super secret passwords here. Just going to move that over. 1 second. So we got Legion back, and we're going to go to the hard mode, aggressive, and then the Christmas scan, which is very, very noisy. Okay, so as you can see, it is running, and let me go ahead and bring it down here, and bear patience here. We're scanning aggressively on that host. See the progress at the very bottom here, bottom left. So it is just cooking along, and this is a very noisy scan. As a hacker, you would never do this aggressively. You usually, hacker, you want to be very stealthy to not trip off your SIEMs, not trip off your firewalls. Be very, very stealthy. When you're doing recon, you want to come in very, very quietly. So yeah, getting back to, so as a hacker, you want to be very quiet. Be extremely quiet. You want to go under the radar. And so basically this scan is a very noisy scan. So basically we are beating up this Windows system. So that is cooking along. Let's go to our Windows system here. And it's I've got it of the other system in the background. So let's just see if Windows Firewall is doing anything for us. It's a configuration change, but I would imagine, at least I would imagine, that would have all these port entries attempts that we're beating on this thing. See, it says antivirus is out of date. Well, who cares? We're beating on it. So that's currently this system is under attack. And I would imagine in these firewall logs, it should show something. Again, I would, as a security operations, I'd rely more on your SIEMs, your logging, because Windows out of the box doesn't seem to be very helpful. The event logs. So even the security event logs doesn't show a lot of. I don't see a lot of errors or warnings. And again, we're doing a port scan. We're doing a very aggressive port scan on this. So either it's ignoring it, but at least from the default Windows event logs, as an administrator or a security professional, this does not show me if. Obviously, you don't know when you're getting hacked. But at least from the event logs here, none of these event logs show me that I'm under attack. Here's some new services that were added. Windows Update, enter the stop state, but it doesn't show me that we're under attack. I would imagine, and I guess I could have cranked and turned on the Windows Firewall, but this is default out of the box. Windows Defender should be going crazy. And as you can see, it's not. This is the latest entry. Configuration has changed. So yeah, this system is getting pounded from a hacker standpoint. We're trying to find vulnerabilities. And we're just doing some Nmap scans. And so, okay, yeah, this latest firewall log here added an exception to the. So, as a security professional, using the default Windows, to me, it's kind of weak. I mean, there's not a lot here to tell me that I'm under attack. So let's go back to Kali to see if we finished here. And we finished in 203 seconds, and so we just found port 5357 like before. So let's go ahead and do a, we do have, that's actually very interesting. I don't know if you can see here, it's very light, sorry, let me scroll over here. So it says service unavailable. We have an HTTP error of 503. The service is unavailable. And this is from the screen capture, or the screen shooter. So this means that at least from Kali Legion, it's some sort of website. It's some sort of it's not using 80, it's not using 443, but it's definitely, it came back as a 503. It's very, very hard to read, and I apologize for that, because it is a black or very gray background and it is black font. But to me, as a hacker or pen tester, that service unavailability tells me that, okay, it's unavailable, but it's listening. It's listening. So that's always good too. So let's see what services. So again, that one port. Let's see what tools. Let's go to brute force. So that's where we were, and we were going to go ahead and add in. I have some passwords here, so we're going to go ahead, and we do have a luxury of a test account, and it is. I'm going to go ahead and grab it here. Super secret. So I'm just going to shift this over a little bit. And then we're going to see, again, this is just, we do have a test account normally. I mean, depending on if they set you up with a test account or not. But let's go ahead and type this super secure password. So we're going to attack Stan's account. Now Stan, we set him up as a standard account. He's not an admin. But we're going to see what... I'm going to go ahead and run this here. We gave it a password. Oh, we don't have the right API. I'm so sorry. I need to put that in there. So we're going to see what we can do from a hacking hack the password. And I put the loop back, and that doesn't really do us any good. So 168.1.77. And we can do SSH, but most likely that's not really, because it's not a Unix system. As you can see here in the very bottom, Hydra, it's going on 22, which is SSH. It's a Windows box, so this is kind of a moot point. But we're attacking SSH. It's hard to read there, and I apologize for that. But the it says attacking SSH, and then the IP, and then port 22. We're probably not going to find anything because that's not the port it's not the port that's open. It just finished. Did you see it? Okay. So yeah. So let's go ahead and let's type in 5357. It's not SSH. I guess we could do. I'm gonna leave it as is. There's some good LDAP. There's all kinds of good stuff to choose from, and we could actually do a little script and try all those protocols. Thought I was sort of Windows here, but let's go ahead and do SSH, but 5357. So let's see if it's coming back here. So we're attacking again on port 5357. Obviously, you can script this for all the known ports, and then just send it to Hydra, and then script it out so to check all the ports. But three tries per task. So this will probably finish and not find anything because it's attacking SSH, but on port 5357. Obviously, SSH by default is not 5357. We're going to go ahead and stop that, and then I thought let's do Simba. Usually Simba's 137. Let's do Simba 137 on that, because that's usually the Simba share. let's see if we, so we've got Stan's password and his account, and then we're attacking port 137, which is a standard default Windows port. And it's actually kind of interesting. You probably can't see it there, but it says, please do not use in military or secret service organizations. So it looks like some sort of lessons learned there. Obviously, this is not in either of those. So basically, we're trying to hack Stan's account. So this, at the minimum, this should show up in the Windows security event logs. At the minimum, as a failed attempt. Because we are beating on it. Again, we've tried port 22, we've 53, 57, now 137. So at the very minimum, we should see something in the event logs. And it's been running almost a minute now. Elapsed time and estimated, okay. So hopefully you can see this. So it's just beating on using Stan's account as a test account. We have the correct password. But now we're just trying a different bunch of ports and stuff. So let's just see. Now we're going to switch back to the server. So again, Windows Firewall, not very helpful. Let's go up to the security event log. So I should see a bunch of errors in here. Now it could be because of oh, here we go. Audit failure. Nope, that was before. That was for Eric, the accountant. So we should see, it's a system event ID, so we don't really care about that. We should see, at least I would imagine, we should see a whole bunch of stuff in here in the Windows security logs. But we don't. So we're going to let that run a little bit. And again, this is just an initial take to see how Windows, just by default, we can harden this down, we can set up notification, we can install IIS, but this is a default, this is the trial copy from Microsoft website. Mind you, it's a 5.2 gig download, so probably do it before you go to bed. So yeah, I don't see nothing else in the Windows Defender event logs. So these are the same event logs that were before. Configuration has changed. So this box is not responding to any events of it getting beat up. It is not responding to any events. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, again, your SIEM, your logging, your external third-party logging should help you there. But I would imagine, I would be hopeful that Windows would include it. But yeah, we have connection security, kind of going through here. Connection security verbose, firewall diagnostics, firewall verbose, network isolation operational. And that was disabled. So out of the box, this is doing nothing for us from an event log, a logging standpoint. So yeah, this has been running for quite a while. We're going to go ahead and stop that. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to imagine these are all just going to time out. But we have a HTTP GET. Let's do an HTTP GET because we're not going to use HTTPS because we don't have any certs. So let's just see. We're doing an HTTP GET, port 137, Stan's password here. Actually, so I'm going to stop that. I'm sorry. So we're going to do that HTTP GET, but 5357. And that's the, dare I say, zombie or ghost website that, that's that new port that we found. 101 completed. Well, that was very uneventful. Attacking HTTP, port 5357, and it's still kind of crunching. So, kind of not very exciting there. So we have, let's see, with Hydra came back. See, these are all the ones that we tried. And again, not very helpful. So let's do a rescan. Nothing changed, so we are going to go. We did full. Let's do full UDP this time. Let's do the full UDP. So those were TCP that we tried before in UDP. So we're going to do a full UDP scan on here. And while that's cooking there, it takes a while for that to. And again, nothing in the event logs. Maybe I'm thinking that these should be differently, but yeah, application is fine. These are just, these are just standard setup system. And again, this is default out of the box. We haven't hardened it. We haven't put through patches on it. And then these are just the default system NT authority. So yeah, kind of. I personally think they're kind of Windows event logs. At least the security ones are kind of useless. But yeah, so like services. So yeah, this is just a preliminary review evaluation of 2022 Windows Server. And right now, it's very familiar to either Windows 2016 or 2019. It's a very familiar look and feel. The interfaces are very familiar. So here's Windows Security. Let's see if this does anything for us. And again, this is default out of the box. We have not turned on anything. All we've done is give it a static IP and 2 user accounts. So virus, no action needed, no action needed. So according to this, we are up to date. Quick scan, no current threats. I would imagine our Windows firewall would be going crazy. Firewall network protection. Active firewall is on, allow an app. Now we could try the notification settings, but I would imagine by the default out of the box. And I don't really care about, let's do manage notifications. Recent activity and scan results. This is all virus. Windows Defender blocks a new application. So by default. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on. And we're going to go noisy. So hopefully, maybe we will get something in the event logs. So we've got that, and let's just see, we got some noise here. Nope, special privilege, nope, not very helpful. So let's run our scan again. Now that we cranked up Windows Firewall event notification, I would imagine that would be on at the beginning. But it doesn't look like these are kind of profile domain changed. Oh, okay, well that's still worthless. Okay, let's go ahead and scan this puppy again and rescan. So we're beating it up again. We're going to do, it's doing a rescan here, and it's still doing the 5357. So hopefully, when we turn on notifications, hopefully we should see something in the event logs. And let's go ahead and run Nmap again as well. So I'm just, and it's scanning 1,000 ports. So we're going to hit it by Nmap, and then we're also hitting it by Legion in the background here. So yeah, it's getting a scan here. It's getting beat up. Let's see here. 0 passwords found. So hopefully in the Windows event log we should see something that we are under attack instead of just being fat, dumb, and happy. Don't care about that. Yeah, I still don't see anything in here. Maybe I'm trying to make it something that it was never designed to be, but we're getting it. I'm hitting on it. I'm beating on it. I don't see anything. So good or bad. So this is just our preliminary run-through of Windows 2022 from a security stance, not necessarily a usability stance. So yeah, here's our scans coming back here. Here's our Nmaps. and it should, at least I would imagine. Let's stop there, and then let's do let's change this protocol or service. Let's do it up to. Ooh, that's interesting. So yeah, I would imagine that they should at least log something, because that system's getting beat up from a port scan. But yeah, nothing here that too impressive. So we still have our screen shooter. So yeah, it should at least, I would imagine, at least show us these bad. It should show Stan's account is getting beat up. Our login, SIP here. Yeah, I'm not I guess I'm thinking that it's, I mean, it seems secure-ish, but it doesn't let me know that we're under attack. I mean, I'm just using default out of the box here. So, again, it looks like a very similar Windows. Yep, so we're still scanning here. So I would imagine that there should be something in the Windows event logs. I do not see anything. So either it's fat, dumb, and happy, or, so let's go back to the Windows Defender. Nope, there's nothing in the event logs here for all these port scans. So, yep, the last entry was about 4 minutes ago. Disabled inbound notifications. So that's it. So I kind of don't really care about that. I mean, that's good in case a hacker messes with you and opens up your firewall. But right now it's currently under attack, and Windows event logs are not coming through for me here. So, well, that concludes. It looks like our port scan's finished, and it looks like it still found 5357 open. Let's see if Legion found anything else interesting. So yeah, that was just an initial go-through on Windows 2022. So it looks like it's very similar to the 2016 and 2019. So this is using crawl. And okay, so we're also going to use CutDecrypt to crypt to check the website. And so as you can see here, we're using port 5357, and this is going to walk the website. This is the port that we found during our recon, and that was 5357. So we're outputting this to the a Git or PNG file. The PNG file that we tried before, and I'm going to this here. This is operation timed out. So we're going to try. We're trying a different. We're using the specific port to see if it found anything. Again, we're just. This is just to check the website to see what other information we can gather. So socket operation timed out, failed to load that port. The website for 5357. So we're just poking around to see what we can find. I'm going to go back to the server here, and this is all that the server has, and it's firewall logs. The Windows Defender health report. Again, that's great, but it's not showing me active hits. I should see active hits. So I don't see any yet in here. So we've been kind of pounding on this for about an hour now, and I don't see any active hits. So we're going to go to security here, and I don't see any errors in this security log. So again, it seems secure. I guess my final thoughts is it's open with a port that's unrecognized. I would like to close that port down to see what's going on, and there is no logging even though we turned up notifications. So far it's secure in the fact that It's not letting us in, but it's not telling us as an admin who if somebody's trying to break in. Once we added it to the domain. So now we've added this server to the domain, and let's see what our scans come back as. Let's see if it added anything. So we're running again that Nmap 1000 ports scan. Let's try Legion. Let's see if Legion picks up anything new. So we're going to go ahead and scan here, hosts, and we're going to see if it picked up anything new. So rescan. So we're rescanning. We added it to the domain. We actually logged in with a domain admin account on that server. Don't really care because we're coming an attack from the outside in. So maybe, and again, this is default Windows domain settings. So that's crunching. It's going along here. Let's see if brute force. Let's check our service here. There's no Windows service per se here, so we could pick. Again, we're just doing a kind of a blind scan. So we could just do SNMB and scan, see if it picked up anything additional since we added it to the domain. Let's purge results and then do a rescan here. So why that's so the Nmap on the bottom here is crunching along. It's 1000 ports that it's scanning. It's still scanning. So let's see. And then in addition to that, and I also found this additional port, but that was before we added it to the domain. So let's go ahead and hop over to that server we're logged in, and let's go ahead and bring up Event Viewer here. Rescanning because we added it to the domain, and our Nmap came back here as I believe port 139 is also open because we added it to the domain. So obviously adding a server to the domain, you open up another port for that domain communication. It's just another footprint for hackers to get into. So we're just spot checking around here, doing some scans, and then also checking the server here. So it's still scanning, and we'll let this be, and then we'll come back to it here to see what it found. So default, not much logging, so we're still scanning. So we're going to go ahead and specify logging settings for troubleshooting. Log drop packets, yes. Log successful connections, no. And then we're going to check our settings here. Display notifications. So we should still see something because again we're hitting this. We're doing a very loud scan on this server. And nothing again in the event logs. No warnings, so we're going to search by warnings here. Critical error warning. And that was a while back, so there's nothing recent. So let's check our scans back here. They're still scanning our Nmap. So it did find one port that was open, an additional port, but again on the Windows side, it's like any other version of Windows. I don't see any difference just by using it a little bit here. This time we added it to the domain, so it should at least pick up on our scans what domain it's part of. And again, I would have liked to have the firewall to be more to show more. That's so. Here's the security at a glance. These are some nice. I want to say dumb, warm and fuzzies. It shows you your security pane, but to me, it doesn't allow a lot of control. This is basic user stuff. So you click on here, okay, where domain is active, private. Okay, that's good, but it doesn't show me active attacks. This does not show me active attacks. Advanced settings, firewall notification, manage notifications, recent activity and scanner. So that's virus and threat protection. And then it blocks a new application. Well, there's not an application per se, but we're beating on it through these scans. And I'm still amazed that Windows, again, this is my own opinion, it shows all this fluff. This is all fluff for the security. This is all fluff, but it doesn't really show you active threats. So that's my interpretation of it.